Hello everybody, Mannix here. We're going to do something a little bit different today. If you've seen any of my other videos or you subscribe to my channel, thank you very much if you do, you're probably used to seeing stuff like this more often. Knives. I mainly do knife reviews on this channel. I do other gear videos, flashlight videos, EDC videos, so on and so forth. Today we're going to switch things up a little bit. I'm going to do a little collection video of all of the guns I currently own, all of my firearms. I'm going to start doing firearm reviews, possibly ammo videos, more firearms related stuff as the days go on this channel. I'm going to get rid of whatever this thing is. Cool. We're going to start with possibly the least interesting or weirdest. I guess I can't say this isn't interesting, it's just odd and not exactly the most practical, but this goes back to me a long ways. Got this back in 2014 or so. This is a Cobra Derringer 38 Special. I don't remember what the model of this is offhand, but it was just about 110, 120 bucks or so. Cheap. These Derringers are really, really cheap. They're just a double barrel, 2-shot only break open pistols. Let me show you how this works if you're not familiar with it. And yes, it is not loaded, by the way. No bullets in there. These are 38 Special snap caps, not real rounds. There we go. That one worked. And so did that one. Cool. So you would load it in like this. You have to pull it halfway, the hammer, and then you crank that sucker back, and it's ready to go. Pull it down all the way. Bang. Bang. Fires twice, and then you have to extract the 2 shells out. They usually expand quite a bit, and they can get stuck in there, but that's what this little lever is for. It kind of helps you get them out there. What's the purpose of this gun? These days, other than size, there's nothing really much to it. They're just extremely cheap. They are functional. They do work. I've never had it malfunction on me or anything. It shouldn't. It's a break-open gun. It's so simple. They're just kind of cool looking. Normally, you might be used to the 22s, the smaller ones, the even more practical ones, I guess you could say, for this size of gun. This is just bigger, a little bit more powerful. There's a lot of recoil on there. It usually will slip out of your hand no matter how tight you hold it. And not literally fly out of your hand or anything, but your grip will usually get into this kind of position. Like, it wants to fly out. There's not a whole lot to control onto, and there's a lot of recoil on those 38s on such a small gun. But because it's so cheap, they're just really cool. Really cool, kind of bigger than the 22 Derringers. It's not as big as the really big guys that are in gun stores these days. I don't know what those are called exactly, but there you go. That was just really, really cheap gun. Just thought they were cool. Next up, something a little bit more interesting. We have a Cattleman II. I can't remember who makes this one exactly. I don't remember the brand, but it is another 38 Special, as well as a 357 single action revolver. There are no rounds in here. Let me show you real quick. There are no rounds in there. Really beautiful. I think it's blued right here. I love the gold finish on here, the wood. This is very smooth, absolutely gorgeous. Probably the most gorgeous pistol I have. This is about 470 bucks or so when I got it back in 2018, I want to say. Really beautiful gun, works very well, extremely accurate. It's actually the most accurate pistol I've ever fired. Has very low recoil because of that long barrel. It is heavy, but that's just kind of the trade-off there. Absolutely beautiful gun. It's fun fanning it. If you're at a range that lets you do that. Really, really cool. Just beautiful piece of history. Ever since I saw Django Unchained, I wanted a gun like this. So I actually did not get the Derringer after seeing the movie. I got that before I saw the movie. But after I saw the movie, I wanted this gun right here. Just kind of remind me of the old Western thing. Yeah, but it's an absolutely beautiful, functional gun. Extremely accurate. If you're not familiar with single action, means you have to pull the hammer down for every single shot. It is not double action. Pulling the trigger does absolutely nothing unless the hammer is pulled down. And the only way to rotate it is by pulling it halfway. The only way you can load it is by dropping them in that way. The way you unload it is by pushing this lever back here to extract the shells. So it is a slow gun to unload. But once it's loaded and ready to go, it is a very, very powerful handgun and fires like a champ. It's extremely accurate. Really beautiful. Let me just show you how it works real quick with the snap caps anyway once again. If you're not familiar with these things, you just drop them in like that. I'm just going to show these two. Fire so the 2, and then you would extract your shells like that. Find the next one. Really cool. Next up, show another pistol I have here. Got this one recently. This is a Taurus Judge Public Defender. I love the Taurus Judges. They're really cool. I haven't fired this one yet. I like their design. I like the concept. We'll see if I actually do like this thing when I actually get out and shoot the thing. Again, more snap caps in here. These are not real rounds. snap caps, just so I can safely pull the trigger without worrying about any firing pin damage or anything like that. Really cool gun. This comes in the black. This also comes in the gray and black. This happens to be the cheapest version, the polymer, but it's a really nice, cool, futuristic kind of looking gun. I like how stubby and squashed it is. It just looks modern to me. It's postmodern, actually. It's really cool. It's actually surprisingly comfortable. It's got a nice weight to it, not too heavy, because it is polymer. I mean, what do you expect? I love this fiber optic sight we have on here, the orange. I love the colors on here. It's absolutely beautiful. Finally picked one up after many years of looking at these things. I just wanted to get one. It's basically a little hand shotgun. You can fire the 410 shells as well as 45 long Colt rounds. There's so many different kinds of variants on those rounds you can shoot, so it's a very versatile handgun. People debate whether these are functional or not as far as defense. Like, should you get this one over a typical 9mm or something, or a 38 special revolver? Some people say these things are useless. We'll see. I'll take it to the range. Based on what I've seen, I beg to differ of it being useless. I think it's absolutely a functional gun. It's a little gimmicky, but at the same time, it is functional. I think, anyway. So, really cool. I just think they're just cool handguns. Love to get a couple Taurus Judges if I like the way this one shoots. We'll see. What do I got here? Here we go. Probably familiar with this guy. The Glock 17. This one happens to be a Gen 5, not loaded. I did not even put the magazine in there, because the magazines that keep with this one are loaded. Let me show you that real quick. Here's one of them. Got my 9mm hollow points in there. And it's a 17, so why does this one only have 15 rounds? Well, that's because I'm in the state of frickin' Colorado, and we have a special fun law where our handguns cannot have any more rounds than 15. So even though the gun came with 3 17-round magazines, I have to limit myself to these ones if I want to remain legal underneath this current country's law. But anyway, this gun shoots like butter. It is extremely smooth, very low recoil. It's not too heavy or anything because it is a polymer gun. I actually really like the way the Glocks look. Some people don't like them. I think they're kind of cool looking. They're not beautiful or anything, but as far as function goes, you cannot beat these things, I don't think, for the money. Just best pistol I've ever fired overall. And again, with the capacity of 17 rounds, the length of the barrel, the accuracy, these things are just marvelous handguns. There's a reason people are still talking about these things. There's a reason they're still in the market. These are just amazing pistols. Speaking of Glocks, got another one just recently. I haven't fired this one yet. Ink. The smallest gun on the market currently. This is the Glock 42, which is a 380 auto. No rounds in there. Sorry. Not loaded. Really comfortable. My pinky has nothing to grip onto. I know you can get these magazines that have an extra grip on them and you can grip on. I don't know if I'm going to get one of those, but it's literally just like a mini Glock. It's really cool, actually. It's a single stack magazine, so it is significantly thinner as well. I think it's only 6, yeah, it's a 6+1 magazine it normally comes with. As you can see right there. 6-round magazine, sorry. So this thing has a 6+1 magazine, but I had a hard time debating on either this one or the 43. The 43, if you're not familiar, is pretty much the exact same thing, except it's a 9mm. Costs about the same, but you could argue it's cheaper because the ammo 9mm is currently cheaper than 380 auto. But I picked this one just because I wanted to back up a possible ankle holster gun. You know, maybe you're out with your buddy, they're not carrying anything, you got maybe your 17 on you, and then you have this on you somewhere else. There's an active shooter somewhere, and you hand this to them just for a way for them to defend themselves as you both try to get out of there, or whatever the case is. I don't know. I just wanted a backup pistol, and I trust Glocks, love Glocks, and after doing a lot of debate and a lot of research, I just went with this one. I wanted to go as small and as lightweight as possible. That's why I picked the 380. A lot of people poo-poo the 380 and talk about how they're bad, they're not good enough, but you know what? A bullet is a bullet, and for what I've seen, 380s are good enough, especially good for a backup pistol. One more thing to keep in mind, if you are going to get a very tiny little pistol like this, if you have even a 9mm, they're going to have a lot more recoil. You know, the gun is less heavy, so it's not going to absorb the recoil as much. So stepping down even further will help you control and possibly pop a couple of rounds into whatever you had to at the time. Just keep that in mind. What we got here? That's all my pistols right now. Let's move on to the long guns. The first one I have right here just because it's available. Oh, here we go. A really interesting one. Hatsan Escort BTS 12. It's a semi-auto bull-pup 12 gauge shotgun. Now there's a handful of these floating around. Let me just unload this for you. It's not loaded. As you can see, there's a sled all the way back and there's no magazine in it. It is not loaded. Here's one of the 2 empty mags it comes with. Really cool, extremely comfortable. It's a bull-pup. Again, that means the magazine is behind the trigger, so it decreases the overall length of the gun. This would kind of be like a bullpup assault shotgun. It's really cool. Pretty cheap too. It's only about $500 or so. I got it a few years back. You can find guns just like this at a lot of gun shops these days. You'll find variants of this that look very similar to this gun but are not the same brand. It is Turkish. It does pretty well. I haven't fired any heavy rounds through it. I've only fired birdshot. And as far as birdshot is concerned, I'm going to say, even new, this has jammed up on me a couple times. Had a couple failures to extract these spent shells. So we're going to see if this gun just doesn't like light loads. Maybe the heavier loads, like, you know, the buckshot and slugs will do better. But we will see. You know, I haven't heard too many bad things about this gun. I haven't heard great things either, but it's just a cheap semi-auto Turkish bullpup, and there's a lot of these floating around these days. So we'll see. I just thought it was really cool. I like guns like this. I like modern looking guns. So, and just so our Glock 17 doesn't feel left out here, I'm going to pop in an empty 17 round magazine. There you go. The Kel-Tec KS7, another bullpup. Happens to be a pump action. Not loaded. Really cool. Again, kind of another futuristic gun. It kind of pairs up well with that Taurus Judge, doesn't it? Postmodern, kind of futuristic looking. I like the green fiber optic on there. It looks straight out of a video game. Straight out of Halo or something. It's so cool. But it's not a toy. It absolutely is a functional shotgun. It's extremely reliable. Put many rounds through this guy. Again, 12 gauge. Fires 7 +1 rounds in this beast. It's pretty damn impressive for such a small sized shotgun. Again, it is 18.5 inch barrel, but it is a bullpup, so the barrel starts down here instead of in front of the trigger, so you save some room there, which is excellent for home defense. That's excellent for getting around corners. It's excellent for not having too long of a barrel for an intruder or someone to grab onto. However, you could argue this rail is something to grab onto, so there is debate on that. But it's extremely comfortable, extremely lightweight. It's just extremely reliable. Have had no problems with it whatsoever. It's such an awesome gun. It functions just as cool as it looks, if you like the way it looks. Some people are going to think this is absolutely hideous. I think it's super cool. The recoil on this guy is kind of unforgiving, to be honest. It hurts like hell to shoot it. Again, I fired the same exact rounds through that BTS-12 through all my other shotguns I'm going to show you here, and that one hurts kind of like hell, honestly. I haven't even put any buckshot or slugs through it yet. I can't even imagine. Those are probably not going to be terribly comfortable. But if you're in a home defense situation, you're probably not going to be firing 50 rounds. I hope, anyway. That would be a pretty bad day if you had that many invaders. But just a couple rounds, give it in the home, you'll be just fine, I'm pretty sure. Again, you get all those rounds in there. It's extremely reliable. It's very short, but you have some good accuracy and range on it, too. It's just overall, it's a great home defense gun. It's really sexy looking, too, I think. Despite not being classic. It's cool. Really cool gun. Here's another awesome gun. I always wanted one. Mossberg 590A1 Shockwave. So essentially it's a 590A1, which is another 12-gauge shotgun, but we have a sawed-off barrel, and then this Raptor-style grip, I think they call this right here. It's not the stock grip that comes down at 90 degree. This actually absorbs recoil a little bit better. I fired these stockless shotguns before with the 90-degree angle handles, and they hurt my wrist a bit, so I should have done this first, but again, not loaded. Just very simple, not a whole lot to say. I think it's a 14-inch barrel. I think it holds 5 rounds, 5 + 1. So, again, pretty good capacity on there. It's really comfortable. I always wanted one. I always thought these were cool ever since I was young, and then just a couple of years ago I picked one up at a gun show. You know what's interesting, though? Despite this one not having a stock, it's the same exact length, pretty much, of this KS7 right here, just about. That's very interesting. So functionally speaking, as far as range and accuracy goes, the KS7 is easily going to win. You have at least a 4.5 inch longer barrel, even though the overall length is the same, and you get a higher capacity. So, you know, interesting comparison there. You might want to be careful which one you choose. Functionally speaking, I think the KS7 wins. But if you don't want to deal with that bitch of a recoil, you can step one down to the Shockwave right there. You just got to get used to hip shooting and shooting without a stock. And again, around the $500 mark or so. What else do I got here? I got one more. I think I got one more to show. Yeah, here it is. Now, of all of the shotguns I have here, of all of my long guns, this one was easily the most fun to shoot. I went out with my buddies a few weeks ago. We fired all these guns right here, except for the Glock 42 and the Taurus Judge Public Defender. I didn't have those at the time. They're new guys to the family, but this one was easily the most fun to shoot. Stoeger 12 gauge double barrel, classic style shotgun right here. It's hammerless, which is kind of what I prefer. 18.5 inch barrel on there. Beautiful, beautiful gun. Isn't that sweet? This is just $400. Completely worth it. There's some double barrels that are just $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. They just get insanely expensive. Not for the function, but just for the overall finish, overall design, the materials, etc. That's not really what I cared about so much. I just wanted another cowboy, old-fashioned 1800 style gun, kind of to go with the little collection that you see down here, the Derringer and the 38 Special. All I need is a lever action rifle, and I'll be all set, probably. Unless you can think of anything else to add to that collection, let me know. Maybe I'll pick one up. But this was super fun to shoot. Super fun. I don't know what it is. You pull the trigger once, twice. Again, snap caps. 1, 2. And as soon as you close that, the safety engages. So you disengage that. Pop, pop. They both fire. Release the lever right there. And you got to manually take out the spent shells. That's the one thing I don't like about it. I wish they would pop out. I know there's certain shotguns that I think do that. This one doesn't do that though. But again, the Stoeger right here, it's extremely cheap, $400. You can't really go wrong. I mean, it's a double barrel. How do you mess that up? You just drop the suckers directly in there and it's ready to go. It was just super fun to shoot. I don't know what it was. It's basically like a semi-auto. Pop, pop, and you just put the other two out. It was just a lot of fun. Really fun gun to shoot, other than having to pull the shells out. Now, it got me wondering about home defense when I was kind of debating on which one I would pick or what type of shotgun you should pick. Most people are going to laugh at a double barrel. They're going to say, absolutely not. Do not even bother with a double barrel shotgun for defense. You need to get a pump action, or some people obviously will argue a semi-auto, like a Benelli or something like that. There's a big debate, pump action shotguns versus semi-auto shotguns. I see both sides of the argument. I've handled both. I've handled way more guns than you're seeing right here, but I'm kind of torn too. I would not pick a double barrel for defense, but what I will say is that I can actually see them being viable. If that's all you have. You have 2 rounds ready to go. As soon as you close it, as soon as you get that safety disengaged, it's not going to fail on you. 99.9999. I cannot possibly see that failing. The shell is in the barrel. It's ready to go. There's nothing to load into the barrel. It's completely chambered and ready to go. Both of them. So pop, pop. They're both going to fire. You don't have to worry about cycling anything. You don't have to worry about failures to extract or failures to feed. They're ready to go and ready to fire. The biggest disadvantage is capacity. You only have 2 instead of 6 or 7, like the KS7 we have right there. So it completely fails as far as capacity goes. Yes, it's not as good as the other shotguns you can get with much higher capacities, but what I will say, those 2 rounds that are in there, as far as reliability goes, you can't beat a double barrel. They are both going to fire. How could they not? They're both in the barrel, unless the trigger or firing pin failed, but you could say the same exact thing for literally any other gun in the universe. They all work that way. So when we were firing that thing, this got me kind of thinking, sometimes you can step back to the classics. They're totally functional shotguns. No, I wouldn't pick it for home defense, but it's got its advantages, technically speaking. So anyway, there you have it. There's me incoherently rambling as usual, talking about what I own. That's my current collection. That's pretty much it. I would like to do reviews on each and every one of these guns. If you have any gun video requests or anything particular you'd like to see, let me know. I might just make a video on it, within reason. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see gun videos in the future, or even knife videos and typical EDC gear related stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Mannix out.